Hello, fellow castaways. Welcome back to AfterBuzz TV Competitions. We are talking a very emotional episode of ABC's newest docuseries, Castaways, Episode 2, Man Down. We're going to be talking about a new group forming, our first quitter of the season, and the struggles of loneliness that some of the castaways are facing. Stick around.
You're tuned in to AfterBuzz TV, the ESPN of TV talk. Now, let the buzz begin.
Hey.
I love this song.
Rihanna's my girl.
Yeah.
I'll admit, I'm embarrassed again. This is the second time I've been on a show where I don't know the song coming into it.
How do you not know the song?
But I love this song. This is great. This is great.
It also describes this episode, so.
Oh, definitely. That's good to hear.
Yeah.
But once again, everybody, welcome back to AfterBuzz TV Competitions. I'm your host, Michael Patterson. I can't wait to talk about this episode with you guys, and I cannot wait to talk about it with my lovely panel to my left.
Hey guys, I'm Katie Wolski.
What's up? I'm CJ Walker.
Great. And we're missing Tehran tonight, which is a little bit very unfortunate, but hopefully we'll have him back next week. He seems to be getting some good opportunities tonight, which is always good. But let's just get right down on now into it. This episode, very emotional compared to the last one.
Yeah.
And I want to know what you guys overall thought about this episode, Katie.
Oh my God, so much stuff happened. The end really got me going though, I gotta say.
Honestly, I am still against Robbie. I'm sorry,
Okay.
We'll get
Fair
into
enough.
that later.
We'll get into that.
I'm gonna
But
make you love him.
No.
by the end of the season, man, I think you will.
I think so,
you
too.
will. We'll get
see.
there.
We'll see.
But yeah, no, I really liked this episode. I was a little disappointed by the fact that we still didn't get everyone's backstory, but I really liked that we got to see sides of characters that we were teased a little bit that I had no idea Chriselle had that kind of backstory. I mean, crazy kind of stuff, but we'll get right now and on into that. First, before we jump into our topics, welcome everybody and everybody in the chat, everybody watching post on AfterBuzz TV Competitions. I was like, well, I've been looking at your guys' comments down below in the YouTube episodes. I like that kind of feedback, talking to everyone, so I keep that up. I look forward to that. But we'll jump right now on into our first topic. I want to take a look at the new groups that we're forming. So we got to see the new group up the top with Tim and Chriselle.
Yes, Tim and Chriselle.
What are your guys' gut reactions to this group right here?
Me, I am against Chriselle. I don't like her because she seems like she has a really dominant personality, and I also have kind of a dominant personality, and I usually don't like people like that because there can only be one dominant person.
Okay.
And also, is she a feminist? Because it kind of seems. Well, I mean, that's not saying a bad thing.
I don't know if she's a feminist, but I definitely would say that she likes to describe herself as an independent woman, I think. Yeah, likes to do things on her own, not to depend on men, even though she does have, 7 older brothers or something like that.
Yes,
Crazy amount.
Yeah, I found that dichotomy very interesting because she was very vehement about that, she's not this kind of woman who, needs a man to take care of things for her.
Right.
She don't need no man.
Exactly.
And that's what I'm all about.
Yeah.
You don't need no man.
Well, and it showed very, very early on in this episode, too, because we got to see her. She seemed to be one of the people that was really thriving in the beginning. And in the first episode, it didn't really seem so much that she... It was kind of
in the first episode?
Yeah, they touched on... They touched on her very, very briefly. Yeah. And so that's why I think this episode stood out to me the most, because she was a character that I didn't really see too much from. Mm-hmm. And she really gave me a good first or I guess second impression at this point. So what CJ, what more do you not like about her?
I mean,
I was like, because I'm confused on this one.
Do you like her?
I can see the Robbie, the dislike with Robbie, but not so much with Chriselle.
How do you feel about her?
I like her. The strong female character. I always like seeing that, especially now in this climate with this whole shift in female gender roles. And it seems like she was very strong, but not in a kind of obnoxious way, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Like she was a very put up or shut up kind of person, and I liked that. But
that's what I didn't like about her. Like she seems so into herself, not into herself. She seems so independent and so strong-willed that she wouldn't get along with anyone. Like when she first met Tim,
yeah,
she hid all of her stuff. Why? Who does that?
I mean, yeah, she's worried. She's a woman, and as a woman, you know, I gotta say that we're always sort of worried about getting taken advantage of. And when you're on an island and the first person you meet is a man,
You're gonna hide your stuff?
I don't know if I would hide my stuff, but I think I would be a little bit more cautious, definitely.
So then do you think that she would have reacted differently if maybe she would have met up with a woman at first?
Maybe,
instead of
yeah,
Tim?
but she seems so independent that I don't even know if she would have wanted to stay with her.
Yeah, because what I find a little curious is that I can get the whole kind of thing with the, you know, she's a little bit hesitant because he's a man, but I feel like maybe he's a little bit less threatening because of his age. I
Right.
think that kind of helps Tim a little bit. But she kind of mentioned too, we got a little bit of look at a little bit of prejudice a little bit in the beginning because she definitely sized up Tim and noticed the hat and his army pack, and that kind of tipped her off to him as a person, and I think that kind of made her more open to him, if you know what I mean.
Because he was in the army?
Well, I think because she realized he wasn't a threat.
Yeah, he was probably going to be respectable, and she knew he was going to be strong and probably like a team player.
But why
Yeah.
does she feel the need to have to size him up to get along with him or not?
Well, I think when she brought up the whole stereotype thing, like maybe, I don't know if you guys were thinking, how would you feel if you were this army vet and you walk up and you see this girl and she did say she was from Hawaii. And so you're probably thinking, okay, this chick knows how to surf and maybe break coconuts.
Well, it's true because that's what I thought about
Right.
her at first, because we didn't really get too much of her in that first episode that, you know, I didn't know, being in the jungle, you think, you know, maybe she's got these kind of survival skills, but how much survival technique does she actually have? And I think this episode kind of proved that she really does. And with her backstory too, I don't know about you guys, but I was
Shocked.
floored.
Blown away to find out what her dad used to do, still does.
He like ran away from the cartel. Is that right? He ran away from the cartel or
Well,
something.
the police, I think.
No,
Yeah.
Well, he was in the cartel and he ran. Maybe he was just
He
a drug
smuggled-
dealer.
Yeah, he was moving
I don't
stuff
know.
back and
I don't
forth.
know, but I was like, what? is
That's
going on?
Yeah.
because that's the part of the episode now where I'm just like, I need to know more now.
Right, I want to know more about her background and more about her family.
Can we get her dad on the show too? Like, I was like, we need to get an interview with that guy.
Both dads.
Yeah, and then
though?
that too. It was one of those situations where it was like it got one layer of craziness and then it just kept piling on as it went on. And
Right.
so, I mean, I want to know. Okay, because CJ, you've got the controversial opinion here. What is your overall opinion of
Kenzie?
of Chriselle now? Does
Or,
the
yeah,
does the
not-
backstory play into your opinion of her at
I
all?
don't like her.
Okay.
I don't like it.
I think we know his go-to is Kenzie. He just brought her up. Like,
not-
he
but
loves
no.
her.
If her dad was a drug dealer, how does she have the audacity to judge other people by their appearance and stuff?
Well, I think in a way that almost helps her. I think that kind of plays into the character that she kind of is as a person, because she mentions in the beginning when they're kind of showing her as a small child how she's, you know, she thought she was living a normal life. And now and she's realized as she's gotten older that she doesn't live this normal life. And so what we talked about last episode a lot was who we think each person's companion is going to be. And I feel like we're going to see as this goes on that her and Tim are actually going to be a very great pairing. Do you agree, Katie?
I don't know, because she did at the end there talk about how if they do let someone else stay with them, she's worried about the food portions and everything. And I think she also mentioned how she's worried about, because she's the woman, and I think she mentioned the other guy was a man, that maybe she would be put to behind and like she wouldn't be involved in all the big decisions, or like they wouldn't take her seriously anymore since maybe he found someone better than her. I don't know. So yeah.
But do you think that she would, despite that apprehension, do you think that she would voice her opinion of being a
Yeah,
leader? Because
I
to me,
don't
she seems
know.
like a
Seems
leader.
dominant, yeah. I think so.
I don't know. She said she would just get up and leave.
Yeah.
So that doesn't really seem like a leader to me. Does it to you?
In a way, I can, because and like we talked about last episode too, is that some people I just think are better off alone. I think she's one of those. Chriselle's one of those people that she realizes that she's almost she's strong enough that she doesn't need other people. And, you know, whether they're male or female, she's not going to let somebody hold her back. And while I don't think Tim is going to be the kind of person that holds her back, I could certainly see her going, yeah, well, I don't need these people. Like, screw them. There's too many people.
I can see her teaming up with Kenzie because they both are strong characters.
Okay.
And I can see them getting along really well and being like, F these people. We don't need them. Let's go off on our own and
But you don't think there'd be any conflict between two strong type A personalities like that? Because that's what I see
both
going on.
Female.
Yeah.
I honestly don't. They seem like they have kind of a similar personality, and they seem like they will mesh well together. So I think they'll.
Well, and getting back to the whole female like interaction there, that was something that I didn't really see, that we still haven't seen from these first two episodes. I think Kenzie and Chriselle have really only been the two women that have been featured heavily in these episodes, and we haven't seen any female interaction yet, which kind of confuses me a little bit. Do you think that's intentional, or do you think they're holding off on that?
I don't know. I think it kind of seems like the other females are all solo right now, and they have yet to find people. So I think maybe there's not a lot going on with them right now, like on the island. Yeah. Or maybe they are waiting to.
I don't think it's intentional. I just think they just haven't met yet.
Well, no, you don't think that the producers, because, excuse me, it's obvious that the producers are kind of pushing people towards each other. Like we'll get into with the group of three discovering, or Richard and Robbie, and who's ended up not going and seeing Robbie. It almost seems that in order to create that kind of drama, that they're pushing people to meet certain types of people. So I find it a little odd that there hasn't been that female connection yet, or why more people haven't connected with the women on the show yet.
Yeah. I'm wondering too, man. I'm out here thinking the same thing as you. So we're too much on point, honestly. We need to start thinking about some different topics together.
I did think that was kind of weird how Chriselle and Tim met, because they were just randomly. She was searching in the water and he just walked up. I felt like that was really planned. And then when Sawyer and Angel met, I think that was also kind of planned as well, because that was really fast. Unless we didn't see a lot that happened prior to that. Yeah. I think that was planned.
Yeah. I don't know. Yeah. Tim and Chriselle did seem very casual when they met. They were both just kind of like, oh, hi. Like, but they weren't very excited, like super excited, I feel like, as we've seen other people find people on the island. Yeah,
that was another thing I wanted to touch on. It really didn't seem like they were excited to see each other. You know, whether it was because this wasn't actually the first time them meeting each other. What you got to see with Kenzie and Robbie was that it was a very quick embrace. I mean, the same thing with Sawyer and Angel. It makes me wonder if she's going to be that with everyone, because what we got to see with this episode a lot of was the people who were going solo were really struggling, that they weren't finding other people, and it makes me think that if she goes off alone, maybe she'll feel that same kind of way at the end of the day.
Yeah, and then change her mind and actually realize that she does want that human connection. She does need to be with those other people. Yeah.
Yeah, that's definitely one of the storylines that I really want to stick around with the most, with those two. But another group that we got to see in this episode was the group of Angel and Sawyer, who eventually came to find Richard. And with these two, it's kind of weird, because in the three groups that we've seen come together now, they almost seem like when they first meet each other that it's going to go really well, and then it just doesn't. Because for me, I thought the Angel and Sawyer pairing was going to be one of the MVP pairings.
Yeah, I thought they were doing really well together there for a while.
Yeah, because Sawyer very obviously is a person that succeeds in this kind of environment, you know, with his obstacle course background, which I thought was very cool how they presented it, how they show him throwing the spear and on the island, and then it cuts back to him practicing for his obstacle course. I thought that was a really nice touch by the editors.
Sawyer also seems very dominant, so he might not. When him and Chriselle meet, I don't know if they're going to get along, because he seems like he will take charge and want to be the dad or the big brother or whatever.
Yeah, because that's the big conflict that I could see coming, was that Sawyer seemed like he was the kind of person that wanted to meet everyone. Yeah. You know, he wanted to find as many people as possible. Yeah. Katie, do you think that, say he finds a group of 5 people, does there ever become too big of a group where it just becomes a problem?
Oh man, I don't know. See, that's what I actually really liked about Sawyer, is because he had like that energy and that positivity and just like, I want to help as many people as I can. And I thought that was really nice. Like I really like vibed with that. Like I would want Sawyer on my side. And I think if I was in that situation,
okay, so we're pro
CJ
Sawyer. We're pro Sawyer here, CJ.
We're all
Is that what we're getting?
You like him too?
Okay. I honestly...
Okay. The and but.
CJ
We're getting the
likes
and
somebody?
one here. And but.
No, I liked him. I was like, this guy, this is me. I like him. He seems like he's a leader. He seems awesome. I want to help people. Totally me.
So when we get hashtag CJ for season 2, this is what we're going to see. We're going to see a Sawyer 2.0.
But he... Oh, no. But
Get that trending. Get that trending.
I can't wait.
he also seems like he could be pretty bossy and kind of a prick.
Okay.
Okay, yeah.
And we'll elaborate a little more.
Yeah,
What do you
I need
see?
more on that.
It's because the things that he was saying when he first met Angel, he was basically trying to take over and be the one who's like, I don't know, he was trying to be the big brother.
Trying to be the leader.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
And I don't know, that it started off as kind of a nice guy, like just leading him.
Yeah.
But then it started getting kind of bossy.
Okay.
Okay.
In a way, I can kind of get that, but at the same time, I think because he realized that Angel, and obviously we know at the end of the episode that he ends up leaving, but I think because he kind of understood that Angel was maybe lacking there in that kind of department.
Yeah, because I think as soon as they kind of met and like moved on to the next location that they found, that, you know, I think he even mentioned how he saw it like on Angel's face, and he was like, I just don't know if he can do this. I don't know if he can hang out, and he couldn't.
Yeah.
No, Sawyer, let me tell you how I feel about Sawyer.
Okay.
us.
All right.
Tell
All right.
us.
Sawyer is the type of guy, when you're at the gym and you're doing a workout, some random guy just comes up to you and is like, this is how you do it.
Okay.
That's Sawyer. Why? I don't need
I can
that.
see
Just
that.
let me do my own workout. That's how I feel about Sawyer.
Okay. So do you think he's going to start rubbing people the wrong way then?
I feel like he's
got
going to
the-
meet some people who are also type A or also want to be leaders, and he's going to push them away because
Right.
he's going to be bossy.
He's like controlling a
Yeah.
little bit. He wants to be the leader. He wants to be the controller.
Yeah, even if
Yeah.
he means to do it in a nice way, it's just like, I didn't ask for that. You don't have to take over my life.
Yeah, and so we saw at the end of the episode that him and Richard are now this duo. Do you think then that him and Richard are going to do well? Because Richard seems to also be a kind of person that thrives in this kind of scenario. Because now I see that, to me, I think they're the MVP group now. They're the strongest pairing of the two of them. Do you think they're going to butt heads at all, CJ?
Honestly, I really like Richard. Out of everyone,
Okay.
Of course.
All right.
Richard and Kenzie, they're my favorite too. But what really made me like Richard is when he went and saved Angel when he was drowning
Yeah.
or whatever. I thought that was pretty cool.
Very
And
admirable.
He didn't even know that guy. He could have just said, oh, bye.
Let him drift away in the current.
But he went and saved him, so I thought that was really cool. And he seems like the type of guy who will be able to go with the flow, even if he has a leadership type of personality. I feel like he can go with the flow and can deal with Sawyer just letting him be.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I get that. I was like, I think I can agree with you on
No,
that
yeah,
one.
me
There we
too.
go.
Like, a lot. Now
Go
I
me.
like Richard.
But yeah, so talking a little bit more about Richard then, they tease us a little bit with him going to meet with Robbie.
Oh my
And
God.
because at this point I'm just embracing it. I'm team Robbie.
I'm upset.
I'm team Robbie.
I'm upset right now.
Are you Drake? I'm upset.
Hey,
Play
nice,
the
nice,
song.
nice.
No, I'm upset. Yeah, I feel like he just bailed on Robbie. Like, you know, he's been waving at him. It's been about a day and a half
Yeah,
now.
Robbie was
Robbie's
just like, "Hey,
waiting
I'm
on
right
him.
here."
You can literally see each other from across the water.
If I saw Robbie across the way, I would just probably not.
Oh, ouch. That's cold. That's cold.
That is cold. You can barely see him. He's probably like a little speck over there.
But still, he was so over enthused. I'd be like, this guy, leave. I don't want to. Maybe
Okay.
I should just go to the other. I didn't see
Okay.
you. Stay over there.
Yeah,
Let
no.
me do me. You do you.
Well, because for me it made me a little bit upset. This episode, because I mentioned in the beginning that
that he didn't go to Robbie.
yeah, because I with these kind of shows, I really try to stay unbiased from the characters. But at this point,
hard.
Robbie's grown on me.
I love Robbie so
and
much.
Why?
he's just such a nice guy, man. Come on.
I feel like I've given you lots of reasons.
He's got a great story, but that's okay. But no, so
you're gonna learn to love him.
No,
we'll get
Robbie,
there.
No,
we'll get there. We'll get there. Just wait. And that's where the show's going. You'll see.
Yeah.
You'll see. But no,
Robbie just gets me so emotional. Sorry.
Emotional in two different ways. But
Oh, no.
so Richard seems like he's going to reach out to Robbie because he's on this small island, but then he gets interrupted by Richard and Angel. And it doesn't, while it's good that he has Richard now, it doesn't resolve the problem that they're still on this super small island.
Right.
And so I think that they're going to end up moving and meeting with Robbie. I still got hope. I think he's going to meet up with Robbie and Kenzie in the next episode. But it almost...
Oh, you just spoiled the end right there. Kenzie did come back, everyone.
Oh, yeah.
Camera am I looking at? You at home. Kenzie came back. She's not a villain.
Which we'll get into in a little bit. But yeah, I think that's going to be, because we were talking a little bit about when it gets to be a big group, if there's going to be a problem. So because Richard, I believe, correct me if I'm wrong, found Kenzie's pack.
Yes.
And so it almost seems necessary that they're going to meet up now. Mm-hmm. So do we sense a problem brewing with that group of 4 people?
Didn't he use all of the stuff in her bag?
Yes,
she's probably
that's
gonna
what
go
it
off. If someone used all my stuff, I'd be like, first of all, we have a problem. I don't like you. And
okay.
Yeah.
Okay, but you're on an island, and if that's the only bag you have, aren't you gonna use the stuff that's inside?
I mean, that's not the point. It's my stuff.
You're just upset someone touched your stuff.
Yeah.
That's fair. No, I think she would understand, because she did the same kind of thing with Robbie's pack. I think she ate a lot of Robbie's food. I think, at least it seemed like it in the first episode.
Yeah.
But I see potentially an issue. With Richard or Sawyer with Robbie.
Yeah.
Because while I think, as we've seen now, that Kenzie's more of an accepting person, especially with that last line she had where it's like, I had everything, but I didn't have Robbie.
Oh, God.
And which, yeah, it was like, I don't even want to get into that right now. But it seems like Sawyer may not be the same kind of accepting person as Kenzie has turned out to be. So do we think that there's going to be an issue with them going down the line?
No.
No?
With Sawyer and Richard and Robbie?
Yeah, or one of them.
No.
One of them with Robbie.
Sawyer, he doesn't seem like he's gonna like cause any problems with Robbie. He doesn't seem like he's gonna care that Robbie's lazy. No shade.
Lazy. He works at his own pace. Thank you very much.
That's the key. At his own pace.
But no, Sawyer seems like a nice guy. Even when he was with Angel, he was taking care of him. He got him food. And I feel like he'll do the same. He will. Mm-hmm. I feel like he'll like Robbie because he can take care of him.
Okay.
So
I think that too. Yeah, I think that it's not gonna be that big of an issue, for sure. Like, I think they're all just gonna get along. I think Sawyer's just gonna be happy he found more people.
Mm-hmm.
You know.
But also, if you throw Kenzie in the mix, she could turn the two against Robbie and be like, "We gotta go. I found this great tropical place. Let's leave Robbie."
Ooh, I didn't think about that.
He ate the fish that I cooked.
Her fish.
Yeah,
I didn't think about that.
I told him to save the food, but he didn't. Also, the other thing at the beginning of the episode, I thought this scene was hilarious when he was talking about how he goes to fast food places all the time, and it was just a montage of him ordering food after food after food, and he was trying to cut into the coconut. I was dying laughing.
Which I gotta say, as a side note too, it's just something that we haven't really talked about on this show. The editing and the way that the show's packaged together is fantastic.
Yeah.
And I think it kind of lends to this whole documentary-esque style of this show. Like, props to the editors and the producers of the show, because like, you guys are blowing me away with this production value right now. I mean, like, multiple times. Because I think one of the more powerful moments of this episode for me too was when Robbie was talking about getting left by Kenzie in the beginning, and it shows him this anger, this struggle. We'll get to you. This angle and this struggle, and then afterwards he just shows him angrily chopping that tree. Like,
right.
Props to the editors, because that's really
Eric?
good. Eric? Yeah. Well, I was like, we'll move into that now. We're going to talk about the solo people, the people who are on their own, because we got to see Eric, and Eric was somebody.
Solo one.
Well, because there are other people at this point that are still solo,
yeah.
but he was the one that we got to see the most of. And Eric, for me, was a person that I thought was going to see thrive no matter what situation he was in, but it's kind of proving that he's not becoming that kind of person. Are you surprised?
Yeah, I honestly was too, because he was like this Marine, right?
Navy.
Sorry. Two different vets, right?
Yeah,
Navy, and I don't know, you think that he would be able to survive very well, but I think his mental game is definitely driving him a little insane. I mean, as we saw, he was carving names into the objects around him just so he could have a name to talk to.
Yeah.
And I think
That
that's
reminded
like...
me of The Last Man on Earth.
Yeah, and I don't know. I think that's when you know it. And it's only been a couple days, right?
Yeah, I think, because I think at the end of the episode, there was only, we got to the end of day 4.
Yeah.
So it seems like he's already going crazy.
Yeah, he's not
How is he
lasting very
going?
long.
Just because he carves names into a boat?
I don't know, man. If you see someone
His
on the side of the
walking
road
stick?
talking to an inanimate object, are you not like, that guy's a little crazy?
If you
Thank
are
God.
on a stranded island by yourself, who else are you going to talk to?
Well, he knows there's other people
Yeah.
out there.
But what's wrong with naming his boat Gorgeous? What's wrong with
I'm
naming his
talking
And a
about
spears?
spear,
machete.
and a
What do you-
machete. Let's get
I
the list of
mean-
characters. We got 4 new characters in this episode
Right?
now.
Why,
Just
why
for
does
Eric.
that, why does that make him not a contender in being a survivor? Or
No, because I definitely think that he will be able to thrive in the end.
Yeah.
Like, I don't think he's going to quit. It's just at this point, it seems like he's kind of struggling with the loneliness, not the surviving fact of it. And that's what this show kind of seems like it's about. It's not so much about the survival part of it. It's the
Mental
can you
game.
survive? Yeah, the mental game, the loneliness. And he seems to be kind of a person that isn't doing very well in the loneliness category, and neither are the rest of the characters that they kind of teased a little bit, because we got to see there was a
Robbie.
very funny shot. Well, yeah, Robbie. And we got to see a very funny shot, well, at least I thought it was kind of comedic, of Terry laying down in the sand.
While it was
wait,
raining.
is that the older lady?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I was
and
She was
dying.
humming.
Yeah, it seems like the solo people are struggling very hard, and that's not something that I expected, because I would like to think that I'm the kind of person that I could be able to be alone by myself for a little while and be able to survive. But none of these people seem to be doing very well. Is that a shock to anybody else?
No, I feel like that was just the editing.
Okay.
I don't think they were that alone, or that they felt that alone or anything. I just felt the way that the production edited the video made it seem
We
like
didn't
that.
see everything that was
Yeah.
going on.
Because all you
Okay.
saw was cut to Terry sleeping in a pile of sand, cut to the other person fiddling with their thumbs.
Yeah.
Like, that's all you saw. You don't know the whole other side of the thing, so.
Yeah, we got
that's
to.
true.
We missed a lot of entertainment, but speaking of entertainment, you can't miss entertainment with AfterBuzz TV, and we've got a little note for you today.
All right. Hey After Buzzers, our network produces after shows for nearly all your favorite TV shows, from dramas, reality TV, sci-fi, and more. There is no network that works harder to serve television fans. But we need your help. We're asking that you please subscribe to one or more of our YouTube channels. By subscribing to our channel, YouTube will suggest content that's tailor-made for you, and you'll help AfterBuzz continue to grow. And if you're worried about pesky notifications, don't be, because they are optional, guys. So hit that subscribe button now for this channel, and check out our other AfterBuzz YouTube channels as well. Let us know you did so in the comments, and of course we'll thank you on air. For now, thanks for being the best fans and for helping us be the ESPN of TV talk.
Yeah, thanks so much, guys. You guys are the best. We got some good fans already.
Yes,
Keep
we
telling
do.
your friends, not just about this show, about our other shows. This whole network's great. Bound to find something else you'll love. But moving on to our next topic, we got to talk about Robbie and Kenzie. We didn't see it's a whole lot of them, but one of the things that we touched on in our first after show was we wanted to see if Kenzie would be this season's villain. And it's funny
Right.
because we found Kenzie on Instagram actually acknowledged this,
Yeah, she did.
which we're going to pull that up right now. She acknowledges the fact that people seem to be calling her a villain, and she kind of takes it in stride. She shows a little article in her Instagram
Yes,
account.
Kenzie.
Yeah, where she acknowledges, or the article acknowledges that she leaves, and then she shows some Instagram comments, and there are some nasty Instagram comments. Like on the fourth picture she has on this collage of sorts, it's some really mean stuff, and I didn't really expect fans to be so rabid to her this show.
Right. I mean, people are vicious out there on the internet, man.
All those fans who are commenting negative things, like on her Instagram, are people like you guys who are Team Robbie.
First of all,
some people like me
I don't
are
negatively attack Kenzie. I'm not out here trolling on her.
I mean, I don't know. You might have a bunch of different accounts. No, I'm joking.
We got AfterBuzz TV burner accounts, and we're confirming that here.
But no, Kenzie isn't a villain. I don't think she is. You guys obviously thought she was. She didn't even abandon Robbie.
I did think. Well, she thought about it. So.
But did she do it?
No,
exactly.
And it surprised me. Honestly, it surprised me.
surprised.
Kenzie pulled through, and I was actually really shocked about it. I thought she was a goner.
Kenzie, I'm your number one fan.
Yeah. I mean, CJ did call it, I guess.
I knew that she was going to come back. I did not think that she would abandon. But even if she did abandon him,
You still would have loved her.
I still would have loved her. I would have understood. I would have been like, Kenzie, same.
You're just anything pro Kenzie at this point, I think.
I'm just saying, Kenzie's awesome.
What about you, Michael?
Hey man, you like what you like. I liked that she's not a villain. I really didn't want her to be a villain. I mean, because she seems like a very nice person,
Yeah.
and I mean, she's gone out. She's got this career now. She's trying to make it work. I don't want there really to be a villain in this show.
I do.
You do?
They'll make it
Why?
boring. They'll make it boring if there's no villain, because there has to be someone to stir the pot.
All right, so
I
who's
think-
the next villain?
Then what do you mean? There's no villain
right now.
Wasn't a villain.
She was sort
There's
of a
no villain
villain
right
for
now.
a half a second.
No, I feel like the villain could be Chriselle.
Rochelle.
Okay. All right.
Chriselle. I feel like she will be a villain, or there's my water. Either Chriselle or someone we haven't seen yet.
Right.
Okay. Interesting too that the two. So then you're now suggesting that if Chriselle's the next villain, that means the two female characters.
Not the next. The only.
The only.
Oh.
Okay, that'd be interesting because then that'd be the only two females that we've really seen a lot from on this show have kind of been the potential villains.
No,
which will be something to note.
You said that Kenzie was the villain. No one else said that. So
I kind of agreed with Michael though.
No, because it makes sense.
In the first episode,
she really made it. She really made it seem that way, and like obviously, I'm not like somebody who's going and trolling her on Instagram, but I can see where it's going. You got to create that drama, but like I said, I don't really think the show needs a villain. And I'm kind of glad that they made her. That she had this kind of redemption arc, because even though we didn't really see her like go and leave and where she found all these items, which I kind of wish we would have seen.
Yeah, what's this palace that she was talking about?
I think we're going to see that in the next episode potentially.
But back to what you were saying, there needs to be a villain. Do you not remember in elementary school they were like there has to be a protagonist and an antagonist to make a story?
Yeah.
If there's just a protagonist, I'm not reading that. I'm not watching that. I want to see some drama. I want to see some fights.
You want some
I want to see
I knew you
Robbie
wanted
getting
fights.
thrown into the water.
We need some Keeping Up with the Kardashians drama right here.
Yes.
Let's get it.
Boy,
Let's
oh
get
boy.
it.
I want to see someone. But never mind. I was gonna say I want to see someone burn.
We want to see some arguments. We want to see some arguments. We want to see some fights. That's
Some
okay.
dark stuff.
Well, and honestly, I think if it's going to happen, it's going to happen naturally, because again, we don't know exactly how long it is. How long they're on there. Based on from what I've seen on some of the Castaways social media, it seems that they were out there for at least a month. At least a month, maybe two.
This is a lot.
So we've got, and there's, I think, 10 episodes left of the season, so there's definitely a lot of time to see this, and we'll see, but I think it's kind of proven now that Kenzie's not going to be the villain of the season.
Yeah.
But
She
on
is
the
not.
flip side of the Kenzie relationship, we have Robbie, our fave, Robbie.
Our
Our
fave.
fave,
Me
not
and
I.
Michael's fave.
Not us.
No, so
Me and
He's on the
Michael's
bottom of
fave.
the list.
But besides all that, I think this episode once again proved that he's the main character of the show. We got to see a lot more backstory from him. We got to see him meeting his biological father, which probably was the most impactful moment of the episode. I don't know about you guys.
I honestly can see how Robbie became the way he is through all of his backstory.
Of course.
Yeah, because no wonder he has a fear of being alone, because he was abandoned as a kid. Because he was adopted. So yeah, I can see exactly how he became the way he is. Not saying that's going to make me like him, but I can see how he became the man he is today.
Yeah.
Did this episode make you like Robbie more? Or?
Oh, God, yeah. And CJ's going to hate me for it, but I love Robbie even more than I did last episode. Yeah, I think the backstory really opened up some, and they pulled on some heartstrings, I think. Opened our eyes a little bit more, pulled on some heartstrings. And, I'm glad I got to see that side of Robbie and really, talk to his biological father and get that squashed and everything so he could come on the show and deal with even those other inner demons that he's dealing with.
Yeah, because it seems that each episode it's kind of piling on more of these demons that he has in his life. And I think the most interesting thing that I found about this episode with him is a line that he had where he was talking about his biological father, and he mentioned that, people were saying that his biological father was on drugs or had a problem with substance abuse. And he said, then something about me has to not be good, along those lines. And that was and that line struck deep, and it seems to be that his bad, quote unquote, is his eating problem. And I don't know, it's just that this episode just made me like him more. But we're gonna see. I think we're gonna see with him.
Are these predictions?
No, we'll get into more predictions, but I think we'll see as the season goes on, because I think at this point his backstory has been laid out.
Yes.
I don't really think there's going to be more.
Right, what more could there be, I think, to Robbie? I think maybe, I know I'm ready for starting to see more backstory. I was really interested in Chriselle, so, I'm really excited to dive into other people. Who are you most excited to see?
Who am I most excited to see get dove in more?
Yeah.
The other 4 people who we've never seen before.
No, well, them, but I think of the characters that we've seen in this episode, I want to see more of Eric.
Yeah.
And not just because of his personality, but this arc, because it almost kind of seems that he's going to be this lonely person. And I want to see if someone is able to crack, because at this point we got to see our first person crack with Angel. And
can we talk about that now?
Yeah, let's get into that, because I was not expecting Angel to be the first person to quit.
Angel went home. I was like, what?
Well,
no, your jaw dropped.
My jaw did drop.
I wasn't paying attention when it happened. I was like, wait, what's happening?
So you looked at me.
Yeah, I looked at you.
It was very abrupt, and I think that's what they were trying to present it that way, because it was such an abrupt thing. And but I think the most impactful thing about that whole segment was that in the end it says I quit, and there's a very big difference between quitting and being forced to leave, if that makes sense. And so what I want to know, CJ, because I know you've probably got a good one on this one, is Angel a quitter?
Yes, he said I quit. That is a quitter.
I know, but should we criticize him for that?
Yes,
for being a quitter.
He literally made it, I think, to day 2, and just what's the point of applying for the show if you can't stay at least a week?
But did you not think because of his backstory and his family that played a role into it?
Honestly, no, I did not. I think Angel is a quitter. He could have stayed longer. He made it 2 days. He couldn't even, when him and Sawyer met up, he couldn't even catch food. He was just sitting there pouting like a little kid, and I don't.
Yeah, I don't think he was mentally prepared for it.
Yeah.
I honestly thought from his background that because, he did move from Honduras and he's this life with his mom out in LA, and I know it's hard, and to hear all the horror stories that are going on back home with his other side of his family. I don't know. For some reason, I really thought he had that mental game going.
Yeah, that should make him push.
Yeah,
Give him a
and so I
push.
was a little bit shocked to see him just kind of give up and be like, well, I need to focus on my brother. And
Yeah, that's why I'm conflicted. Because on shows like Survivor or in Big Brother, I hate when people quit.
I love
right,
Big
Like-
yeah, you never want to see anyone quit.
Yeah, and it's frustrating as a viewer who loves the game or loves the experience to see people willingly quit something. But when I take it into this kind of situation, because it's so rooted in real life, I can kind of give him a pass on this one.
Why?
Because I can kind of put myself in his shoes. I can be a little empathetic. Like, if I ever got a picture from one of my family members covered in blood on a bed, I would probably be going back there or doing whatever I could to be there with him. But that's why I'm kind of conflicted, because if you know that in your mind, why are you coming on this show?
Exactly. Why did you come?
I don't think I'm going to get, because at this point he's not on any of the rest of the episodes. I don't think I'm going to get that closure. But for me, I'm very conflicted. I'm kind of more on the side of empathy with him because he comes from such a terrible background.
Yeah.
But the quitting aspect and the fact that they presented him as a quitter, it almost kind of seems like they don't want you to feel empathetic for him in a way.
Yeah, and I feel like, he hasn't really gone through anything that mentally or physically tough besides that swimming thing, but then Richard came and saved him. So I thought that, he should be feeling good about himself. He found more people. They're probably going to go on to find even more people, two guys who actually know what they're doing and have survival skills. You think he would be excited.
Mm-hmm.
But I felt like he just felt that he didn't belong and that he didn't bring anything to the table. And he's like, why am I here when I probably could be helping my family? I get that, but I don't know. Still, I think he should have stuck it out.
It's hard. I'm definitely conflicted, but we're gonna move on now to our last segment of the show. We're gonna go into predictions, and this is an interesting one for me. This is an interesting one for me.
Your AfterBuzz
What?
TV.
That surprises me every time. No, I knew it was coming. I knew it.
He's prepared. He's got it.
I got it.
But so next week's episode is called Only the Lonely.
Wait, how do you know that?
It's online, man. Gotta get that research. It's the 21st century.
Gotcha.
We mind you.
Next week's episode is called Only the Lonely. CJ, what do you think's gonna happen next week based on that title?
Only the Lonely. It's about Robbie. Because he's only the lonely. I don't know. I was going with that.
Robbie.
I don't know. I was going.
I was like, that was a little bit of a dig. That was a reach. That was a reach.
Anyway.
But you can go. Take it away.
All right.
Prediction.
Well, I think obviously we're going to see more of Eric.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm really excited because my gut feeling has him meeting someone. But I still think we're going to see him in that mental struggle for a while until he does finally meet somebody. And then we're going to be like, oh, he's going to be like, the gates of heaven open up.
Yeah.
And I finally found human contact. What about you, Michael?
Yeah, I'm interpreting this title literally. So I think next week's episode is only going to be about the people that are alone. And I think this is when we're finally going to get introduced to those four characters. Mm-hmm. Because the four characters that we haven't met yet, they all have extremely compelling stories. Because they got teased in the first episode, but we still haven't heard from them in this episode. Yeah. So I think this next week's episode, we're going to see only the people that are by themselves. But with that being said, I don't think any of them are going to meet up with each other.
You don't?
No, because like you mentioned earlier, CJ, the drama. I think there's drama in people not meeting up with each other because you're not battling against someone else, you're battling with yourself.
That's not fun, though. I want to see drama between two people.
Oh, see, I love that, man. The psychological stuff.
You like watching people go crazy.
Yeah, well, I watch Big Brother, so I like watching people go crazy in a situation.
You like to watch them have a meltdown.
Exactly. Yeah, that's what I live for.
But that's
what about you? You're not waiting for a meltdown,
too? That's no fun. I want to see two people duke it out.
Yeah.
And
you want the physical contact.
Well, no, not physical. I'm just saying,
the head stuff.
Yeah, I want to see two people argue.
Character A versus character B.
Yeah.
Okay.
Exactly.
That's fair. But with that being said, this is unfortunately all the time we've got for today on our AfterBuzz TV after show. But we'll be here again next week, same time slot, same day. Hopefully we'll have a full panel this time. But for now, be sure to leave comments down below. Let us know what you think. I want to talk to people about the show besides these two, because these two are great, but I want to hear everyone else's thoughts as well. You can either do that in the comments, or you can follow me, Michael Patterson, on Twitter at MikePatNews. That's MikePattnews. For the rest of my lovely panel, where can we find you on social media?
Hey guys, I'm Katie Wolski, and you can find me on all my social media at KatieWolski_.
And I am CJ Walker. You can find me everywhere at iCJ Walker, even YouTube.
Awesome. Well, once again, thanks guys for joining us on another episode of AfterBuzz TV Castaways After Show. We'll see y'all next week. Bye, everybody.
From executive producers Maria Menounos, Kevin Undergaro, Phil Svitek, and the entire AfterBuzz TV staff, we would like to thank you for listening to the AfterBuzz TV network. To watch or listen to other after shows and post comments or questions, be sure to visit AfterBuzzTV.com. I'm Sir Richard Wentworth, and this has been a presentation of AfterBuzz TV.
Buzz you later.
From executive producers Maria Menounos, Kevin Undergaro, Phil Svitek.
The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of AfterBuzz TV or its owners or principals.